Alright, so we got the 390 spoilers, and it's looking like the Todoroki family drama is wrapping up in this chapter, or at least the bulk of it. There still is some more resolutions, of course, that need to take place, but I think the main conflict with Dabi is ending here, and judging from what's happening at the end, we're moving on to the next big final fight. But before we get into that, let me just quickly go over what had happened in the previous chapter, because we are coming off of a week break, and that chapter was extremely short. So we saw the Todoroki family continuing to use their ice quirks together in order to mitigate Dabi's impending implosion here. Endeavor is also right up on Dabi. I don't know exactly what he's doing. I guess just trying to absorb the flames or something, or just stopping the Todoroki family from getting completely nuked here. But Dabi was kind of having some kind of weird revelation where he finally noticed everyone was watching him, which is like a callback to when he was young Toya, because he just wanted Endeavor to watch him. But coming towards the end of that chapter, we came back to Shoto and Iida, who were on their way to Dabi's big explosive sphere thing. And Iida is like pushing his quirk to the absolute max here, going as fast as he possibly can. And I guess Shoto made like an ice jet around them or something, I suppose, to make them more aerodynamic, but also adding like a ton to them in weight. And Shoto's also like using phosphor at the end of this chapter, I guess, to further propel themselves. But that's where it ended. And this chapter begins with Iida's legs reaching their limit and him telling Shoto that he can only take him so far. He thanks him and propels himself using phosphor. The cops are shocked because he has reached transonic speed. First, let's talk about the sponsor of this video, Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann, the game. Last year's 2023 Anime of the Year, Cyberpunk Edge Runners from the production team Studio Trigger, another classic hot-blooded anime from their already stacked catalog, is Tengen Toppa Gurren Lagann. This is one of Japan's most beloved and well-known anime, and a personal favorite of yours truly. Now, the first ever mobile game for this hot-blooded anime comes out for its American release. From June 1st to June 14th, there will be an open and closed beta test with a limited opening. Enter the game during the beta test, and you can receive limited time rewards and benefits. Click on the links in the comment section below or in the description and join me in participation. Thanks, guys. So apparently transonic speed is greater than 250 miles per hour, but less than 760 miles per hour. So yeah, he's going pretty fast, but I don't know. I thought he would have been going faster than that, but still, you know, ultra impressive. So I guess Shoto was using phosphor and he's just continuing to use it to get him to the destination because Iida can't keep up anymore. And I really hope that this isn't Iida's like end game. I mean, there is going to be quite a few more chapters in the series, so hopefully he'll have something else that he's going to do other than just transporting Shoto. Sukuuchi remembers All Might's words, but the two students begin the key and realizes that he has finally become a good teacher. Iida then thanks his friend for allowing him to become his ideal self. So yeah, that's worrying me right there, Iida saying this. Like I said, I hope this isn't like his last thing he does. Probably not, but it might be the last like significant thing that he does, maybe. And that's why he wishes for Shoto to also become his ideal self. This is when a narration begins, showing what he wrote in the letters to his mother. He says that he is giving his best every day to reach his classmates' level. He's even been practicing conversation. So that's cute. I really do like post-character arc Shoto, which I guess is like the Shoto that has taken up the majority of the series at this point, but he was kind of rough in the beginning, if you can remember back that far, or if you've recently watched season 1 and half of season 2. He really has become one of the better characters in the series for sure, and I do appreciate that Horikoshi has put so much time and effort into his backstory as well as his family's backstory and their development. To be honest, it seems like this is the most depth and development that any character or set of characters get in the entire series, even more than Izuku and All Might. These conversations have led to many conflicts, but the resolution of said conflicts has allowed him to understand other people's feelings. His friends feel anger and cry even for strangers, and he also wants to be like them. He then finally gets close enough to the rest of the family and thinks to himself that if Dabi's origin was really something so simple, they could have solved it long ago. This is when he uses Great Glacial Ager again, the same move he used in their previous fight. So I don't know if this is the translation that Viz is going to use, but this is kind of funny the way that he's wording it, because once you break it down to its bare essentials, it is something really simple. Like, a lot of this could have been mitigated with just open dialogue and conversation, which isn't as practical in real life as you think. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people listening to this come from just, you know, normal, fine families, but speaking for myself and people that I know and, you know, through things I see online, it's not really that simple, and you'd be surprised by how little open dialogue and communication families and people just in general have with each other, and it could lead to huge detrimental outcomes in relationships and just people's life paths. But aside from that, Shoto, like it says, is using the Great Glacial Ager, and I guess this is like his ultimate move. Like, this is the apex of what Shoto can do, where he builds up like his fire and ice and then just hits them with like a massive wave of apparently cold fire. It's just really a super powerful gust of Shoto-ness, I guess you could say, which initially put out Dabi and like froze a portion of the city as well around them. It was a pretty cool sequence. Everyone is still watching, and the Mazagaki children are smiling. Shoto realizes that the rest of the family was also there, saying that this is a good thing. His ice attack alone wouldn't have been enough to stop Dabi, since his fire was even hotter than in their first fight. He ends by saying that this just proves that he can't do everything by himself, so he's not a masterpiece at all. Toya regains consciousness and says, "You guys," and then starts saying that everyone should die, including himself. So I guess they're extinguishing Dabi here? Like, Shoto using the Great Glacial Ager along with the support of the Todoroki family using their ice quirks, they successfully put out Dabi. And I guess Endeavor is being extinguished as well. He's gonna come back in after this. But Toya's saying that, you know, everyone should die, including himself. Not so much the former, but definitely the latter. But judging from what's happening, like I've been saying, I don't think Dabi is gonna bite the dust here. Natsuo sees the ice inside his chest. I guess he's referring to Dabi here, and asks what he's going to do next, because all that awaits him is a hellish life. Endeavor apologizes for not going to Sokoto Peak. Toya then says that he hates all of his family, and Endeavor asks him to tell him everything he feels. So yeah, this is going back to what we were talking about earlier. Just have some open and honest communication. This all could have been mitigated. Even if they just couldn't have done it amongst themselves, they could have just went to therapy or something, like group family therapy. I know we're, you know, making light of it, but honestly, guys, it can help so much more than you think. Not talking about necessarily therapy, but just communication and being honest. But also going back to Natsuo seeing the ice in his chest, if you're just unaware or you forgot, it was revealed a couple chapters back that Dabi unlocked his ice quirk that he apparently had hidden away within him, which, you know, of course he inherited from Rei, but he needed to come to like the brink of death to awaken it for some reason, because that's just how awakenings work sometimes. But I don't really think much is coming up this ice quirk, at least yet. Maybe this is going to come back into play in the next couple chapters, and it's going to lead to, I don't know, whatever brings Dabi back to not being a corpse. But going back to Endeavor's apologies here, he then apologizes to Rei for all the abuse, to Fuyumi for pushing all of the responsibilities onto her, and to Natsuo for abandoning him. When he goes to say something to Shoto, he just mumbles, "I'm sorry," and apparently loses consciousness. So, Endeavor finally apologizing? I mean, he has kind of apologized before, but I guess never outright like this and consecutive to all the family members at once. And yeah, these are huge transgressions, but at least he's saying he's sorry. That's something. But yeah, I don't think he's dying here. Rukasu is specifically saying loses consciousness. But yeah, that seems like the Dabi stuff is pretty much over, or at least Dabi exploding. So I guess after this, we're just going to have some supplementary chapters or panels dedicated to the dialogue, dedicated to wrapping up this Todoroki family drama, unless it's happening in the next chapter. But let's go over these final spoilers. So, cut to Toga, and she sees that the flames have gone out. She remembers Dabi's words, saying that they should all smile. Her eyes get teary, and she wonders, Toya, were you able to smile? In front of her, Ochako looks determined. End of chapter. So yeah, it looks like we're probably going to be moving on to Ochako versus Toga and the big end resolution of this, because Toga is for sure Ochako's final opponent here and vice versa. But it still feels like we need to have another chapter dedicated to like just the Todoroki family talking here, but I guess that's not going to happen, and we're probably going to have to wait till the end of the war. Because, you know, Endeavor just passed out, and Dabi, I guess, is going to pass out too, or whatever's going on with him. And Shoto's barely hanging on. So, yeah, this might be something that waits until after the war is over. And yeah, we're moving on to Toga versus Ochako, which is probably going to get 3 or 4 chapters dedicated to it. So, look out for that. And if you liked the video, guys, please give it a like. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Have a great day. I'll see you in the next one.